What is imposter syndrome? And what are some of the most paralyzing, interfering thoughts that these people tend to have? Well, stay tuned to find out. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get straight into the video. So, what is imposter syndrome? Well, it was a term coined in the 1970s by two clinical psychologists, Clance and Suzanne Imes. They described it as an internal experience of intellectual phonies and a persistence of feeling of being a fraud. It's rooted in a nagging belief that you personally lack the skills, the knowledge, or competence to fulfill your job despite external recognition and evidence of good and often excellent work. According to Harvey and Katz, there are three core characteristics of imposter syndrome. The first characteristic is denial of competence and inability to internalize success. The second one is feeling of phoniness. And the third one is fear of being exposed as a fraud. Action is essential if you're on the path to freeing yourself from imposter syndrome. So what I will be discussing is three of the most common types of imposter syndrome pits. And if you're wondering what pits are, PIT stands for performance interfering thoughts. And so performance interfering thoughts, they tend to be emotional based thoughts that are often triggered by an emotional reaction to a task. Now, the first common type of thought that people with imposter syndrome tend to have is, I need to know everything first before I can start. For those with imposter syndrome, it's important to appear as if they know everything when tackling a task because of the fear of being exposed as a fraud or looking like an idiot in front of others. However, attempting to learn everything at the start is pretty much impossible because hear me out and really focus on this part. Because there are things that you know, things that you know that you didn't know, things that you didn't know you knew, and things that you didn't know you didn't know. I hope that makes sense. But really, if you want to go back and think it over what I just said, it does make sense. It can be a tad confusing. It is only through experience in which we gain knowledge and skills, which you would have never acquired if you hadn't tried something new in the first place. Admitting that it may not be possible is definitely a first step in going forward. So instead of this belief that you need to know everything before you start, why don't you challenge yourself and try to change that belief into, I don't know everything, but I will use what I know to learn more as I go. Now, the second thought that I'd like to talk about is, I shouldn't do it because I might fail. Now, fear of failure is definitely common among a large group of people, but especially people with imposter syndrome. This thought tends to be so deeply ingrained that it prevents them from making any type of progress. The risk of failure is real with any action, but just because you failed, it does not make you a fraud. I'm gonna say it one more time to really get that ingrained. Just because you failed, that does not make you a fraud. If anything, you should be proud of yourself for even making the first step to doing something. It's better to try it out and fail and to learn and grow rather than never trying at all because of fear. You should be proud of yourself. You should be proud of yourself for making that move, for getting out of your comfort zone and doing something, even with the risk of failure. We're all about growth here at this channel. That's what this channel is about. It's about learning, it's about growing, it's about getting out of these limiting beliefs and just being the best people that we can be, So if anything, you should be, patting yourself on the back, hey, I did what I did. And you know what? I learned and I grew, and I'm gonna do even better in the future because I learned from my mistakes. So if anything, you should be giving yourself, I'll give you a round of applause. Because you deserve it. You are willing to do something, even if it means risking failure. Talk about courageous. Look at you go. Look at you go. Amazing. Okay, let's reel it back in. Let's continue on with this video. Failure is natural. Okay, that's the last thing on that. Okay. When it comes to this type of thinking, it is recommended to adopt a growth mindset. And if you're wondering what a growth mindset is, I made a video on it already. So you can check it out right up here or right after you finish this video. Without action, you won't get anywhere. You need to start asking yourself, what would I miss out because I was too afraid of failure? And instead of having, this belief, try to challenge yourself and try to change it into, yes, I might fail, but I can learn from the experience even if I do. And with that, we are at our very last performance interfering thought of self-imposter syndrome. And that is, I will do it even if it means I burn out. Now, this one is definitely different from the other two. The other two that I talked about talks about how it may stop you from taking action, where this one can make you overdo things until you possibly burn out. Taking action is amazing, but too much of it, like pretty much everything in life, can be detrimental to your mental health and also to your physical health as well. For those with imposter syndrome, working until you completely burn out is not uncommon. Because of self-doubt, they believe that they need to work hard and exert a lot of effort to get something done because they are afraid that if they don't, they won't be able to produce what is expected from them. When it comes to addressing this thought, it's important to talk about the economic law of diminishing. And essentially what that is once your efforts have reached a certain level, its impact on the overall outcome will start to decline. Therefore, it is imperative to exert more time and effort on a task after this level has been reached, because it is not adding any more value. You can confront this thought by trying to limit the amount of time you work on specific tasks. When it comes to imposter syndrome, it is definitely best to try your best to adopt this belief that you are in fact the real deal and you are really good at what you do, but of course, it's easier said than done. So with that is the end of my video. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this information useful, give this video a thumbs up. In the comments down below, let me know if you have any of these types of beliefs, because I certainly do. And lastly, if you're new here, make sure you click the subscribe button, because I am here each and every week to bring you a video in order to unleash your mind, unlock your inner potential, and just be the best person that you can be. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next week. Bye.